Hi there, welcome back to T's YouTube channel. Today I'm back with a super fun recipe that I think you're going to love. Today we're going to be making a giant peanut butter cup. And you think peanut butter cups, sometimes they're like the really little ones, sometimes they're the flatter, skinny ones. This one will blow your mind. It's going to be huge. So the gist of what you'll need to make this recipe is powdered sugar, peanut butter, butter, chocolate chips, and some sort of pan to put it in. I have this tart pan that the bottom pops out of, so something like this would be perfect, but it's pretty flexible with what kind of pan you use. So the fun thing that I like about this is that it's really, really easy to make. So you don't really need to use the oven or the stove. It's pretty straightforward. So the first thing we're going to do is melt our chocolate chips to make the bottom base of the peanut butter cup. So for this recipe, we'll need 2 cups of chocolate chips. So that's roughly 2 bags. So to do this first part, I'm only going to melt 1 bag because we'll use 1 for the bottom layer and 1 for the top layer. So I'll open up my chocolate chips and I'm going to dump them into a glass measuring cup, but you could melt them in any sort of microwave safe container. You could also melt them on the stove. This is just a quick and easy way to do it. So it's filled up in here, and a little tip is to add a little bit of oil. So this is coconut oil. I'm gonna add just a little tiny scoop to the top, and that should help it melt a little more evenly and quickly. So now I'm gonna head over to the microwave and start melting this in 30-second intervals. So I'll put it in for 30 seconds, stir it around, put it back in, stir it around again until it's all the way melted and creamy. So my chocolate is melted now. It's nice and creamy. It took about 2.5 rounds of 30 seconds each in the microwave with stirring in between, but it's nice and creamy, ready to go. So one thing that I'm going to do that I've never done before is I'm going to just give my pan a little bit of grease before I pour the chocolate in. So I'm just using a little spray. This will hopefully just make it easier to come out once we're done. So I just gave it a light coating, and now I'm going to pour my chocolate right into this pan. And the important part about this is that we want to get all of the edges chocolatey as well. So I'm going to scrape this out to get all of the chocolate out first, and then we'll work on spreading it around. So I've got most of the chocolate out. So I'm using a rubber spatula here, and I'm going to spread it out to all of the edges. And then the trickier part of this is getting it up onto the sides. So usually when you have a peanut butter cup, the peanut butter is only in the middle, so we don't want any peeking out of the sides. So we want to use our spatula or a spoon or some sort of other utensil to just push it up so that it coats the side of the pan as well. So go all the way around. And it's okay, see how it's kind of pulling up in the middle, because that we can just stretch out again with what's left, and the edges will be kind of thin. So now we'll just spread this back around until all of that bottom part is covered again, and just make sure all of those sides are filled up to the top. Go back and press it again if you'd like, so that it's all the way covered with chocolate. My pan is well coated now, and I used my spatula to spread that bottom part so it's nice and even. And now I'm going to stick this whole pan right into the fridge to let it cool and set. So then we'll come back once this is all hardened and we'll make the inside peanut butter mixture. I just took my bottom layer out of the fridge. It is all hardened. So we have a solid bottom shell. So now it's time to make our peanut butter mixture for the inside. So to make this mixture, you need 2 cups of creamy peanut butter, which I already measured out, 2 cups of powdered sugar, which I sifted into this bowl, and then 1 stick of softened butter. So I've left mine out for a little while, so it's pretty soft. Now I'm going to take my peanut butter and add these ingredients into this bowl that has the peanut butter in it and mix it well until it's all combined. That was a bit of an arm workout, I won't lie. If you have a hand mixer, you probably could mix it with that, but I just used a rubber spatula. And now you can see my mixture is all well incorporated. So now don't mind the huge mess of powdered sugar that I made on the table and the floor. That's fine, we'll forget about that. So now what I'm going to do is take my mixture and put it right inside this chocolate shell that we have already made. So I'll spread it out into the pan, just plop it right in there. So I finished spreading out my peanut butter. My pan is very heavy now. So I spread it out. It's pretty even. Try and get it as even as you can. But it's all in there now. So I'm going to go pop this back into the fridge so that it can harden a little bit more before we add the top layer of chocolate. I just took the peanut butter cup out of the fridge. It looks pretty much the same as it did before, but it was in the fridge for about an hour and a half or so. And so it's not totally hardened. It shouldn't harden, but it's cold and it's solid enough that I can pour the chocolate on top. So as you saw, I just melted my chocolate chips. So my chocolate is all ready to go on the top. So the same way that we poured the bottom layer, we're gonna pour this chocolate right over the top of the peanut butter layer. So when you're pouring it, do your best to spread it out, but you'll definitely want to use a spoon or something to spread it out a little bit better once you have it all out, because we'll want to make the same sort of even coating like we did on the first layer so that all of the peanut butter is covered up. My top layer of chocolate is done now. And I'm sure there might be a way that you could make it all flat and, you know, perfectly straight across like it is in a real peanut butter cup, but I'm not quite sure how to do that. So I made this little swirly sort of pattern. And now the final step is to put it back in the fridge to let that top layer harden, and then I will come back and show you the final tasty product. I took the peanut butter cup out of the fridge and it is now 100% hardened and ready to go. And it's quite heavy. There's a lot of weight in this pan. So now I'm going to take it out of the pan and put it on the plate so that it's ready to serve. All right, so here is the final product. I had quite a bit of trouble getting it out of the pan. I don't know if it's because it's warm out today or what the situation was, but it does look like there was a bit of an earthquake down the middle, but I'm sure it will still taste fantastic. I hope that you will try this recipe for yourself. It's a lot of fun and I'm sure it will taste great. I will link the full recipe below and I will see you next time.